Hey everyone, quick announcement before the show starts. This is actually announced also at the end of the episode, but wanted to make sure I get the word out there. I'm going to be at 2 different conferences this week, and I'd love to meet up with you. The first one is the Things Conference in Amsterdam. That's happening February 1st to the 3rd. You may recall Richard from TWTG was talking about that. I'm also going to go down to Brussels, Belgium, and go to FOSDEM, which is where some of the KiCad stuff happens, but lots of other open source stuff happens. That's February 3rd and 4th. So if you're going to be at either of those, I'd love to meet up. Either hit me up on Twitter or send an email to chris@theamphour.com. See you there. This is the Amp Hour Podcast, released January 28th, 2018. Episode 377. Debugger versus Printeffer.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics. 1 month later. Feels like, you like cut in with like the Dick Tracy style, Batman, like. Hi, Dave.
1 month later, I actually show up. Yeah.
Hey, man. How was your vacation?
Not long enough.
Oh, well, never is.
No.
You were seaside or oceanside?
Yeah, oceanside. Cool. Yep.
Australia is not on fire? Is it?
No, it's not on
hot,
fire. Why?
but
It was supposed to be on fire, was it?
I just remember someone showed me like 42, 43 C.
Oh, it was
temps.
45. Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, 45 degrees C. Yeah, which is like 105 or something Fahrenheit. I don't know.
Yeah,
something
that's
like
up
that.
there. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
That's like desert temps. Yeah.
And it followed us all the way up the coast as we drove up,
Oh, so you were going north?
Yeah, we'll go north, which is, like hotter.
Oh, it's just hotter though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay,
But
that makes sense.
Yep, anyway.
But yeah, okay. Well, you can come here anytime if you want. It was in the the minus 40 F region in wind chill wise. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh dear. So what's been happening?
Lots of good guests in the past couple weeks.
Cool.
So definitely recommend people go and check those out.
I'm sure they've already. Our
after
hardcore
listening to
fan
this,
base listened to every episode. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So last week was Laura. Before that was an Aussie, Tim from. Last week was Laura, the protocol and everything with Richard, and then Tim with the FPGA stuff.
Yep.
Before that was Clifford with the also FPGA stuff, and then Christian Alicia from Embedded FM. We did our joint show.
What is it with FPGAs? Because I did guest videos while I was away, which...
those are great.
And 12 guest videos, so thanks to all the guests who...
Yeah, those are really... I enjoyed those a lot, so that was great.
But you want to know what the most popular one was?
Which one?
FPGA.
Really?
Well, maybe because it was the first one. I did.
Yeah.
Maybe, but, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, I definitely recommend people go check those out. It was just really cool to kind of get a look into other videos and stuff like that, and other channels. And it seemed like it was all the crowd, like that was all the, these were all forum members, I'm sure, and people that were making like a lot of test gear stuff. I'm like, oh, okay,
you're right, okay, yep, yeah, don't want more of that, right?
Right.
You're not really a test gear nerd, which is strange considering you come from a test gear company.
Yeah, but I just never really was into it.
Right.
We've talked about that here before, right? It's just that I'm just not as detail driven. I think that's what it really comes down to. So, like people that want like that last bit of precision, I'm like, okay, well,
you're an engineer and you're not detail driven. Something's wrong there. No wonder you moved into.
Well, no, yeah, I mean that's why I'm not a great engineer. Like, let's be honest here, right? I mean, like that's something I'm not. But I like breadth more than depth, right? We've talked about that too, of like, and just like shaking things up, learning new stuff. But some people like really like keying in, right, on certain things.
Of course, yeah.
If the one thing that I have depth on, it's interviewing nerds.
Right.
I was thinking about that. It's like that. The one skill I have these days. Maybe also bringing nerds together. And by the way, I meant to tell you, you were a ad hoc sponsor of my meetup last night.
Yes. So I heard. Yes, you gave away the meters to a worthy.
Yes, that's right.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Bill,
door prize.
Yep, that's a good one. So, and
Lucky
if people
door
are in the stateside and need a giveaway for something, they can give me a shout too. I've got some of the Dave's excess meters here. So
Cool.
yeah.
If people don't know, I'm sure I tweeted this, is that I sell my meter on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
And, of course, Amazon have a great return policy, don't they? Apparently.
Pretty good. I mean, just everywhere in the States, pretty much.
Right, okay.
There's really no questions asked, so.
Right, yeah. So people return it for whatever reason. You know, I don't know what. And then if Amazon deem it to be unresaleable, because, I don't know.
Which is based on their criteria, right?
Their criteria, I have no idea what it is because there's a scratch on the box or something. Then they either... Well, they mark it as unresaleable, and then I get an email saying, if you don't remove this within 30 days from our warehouse, we're going to scrap it.
Yep.
And I can't get them sent back to me. You're only allowed to send it to another person in that country's, in the warehouse, in the country where that warehouse is. So I can only send it to someone in the US.
Guess who's got a pile of BM235s in his house, yeah.
Yep. And there was a high voltage probe too, but I don't know what happened with that one. It wouldn't let me...
Yeah, I don't either. I haven't seen
it out.
So.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me do it. So anyway.
Well, these are just like retailing things too. I mean, I mean, anyone who's in retail, I'm sure knows all about the return stuff. And well, we've talked as well about like this is like the cost that people don't really put in their models when they're doing business, stuff.
Yeah,
right. It totally is. And I mean, I never think about it, right? Like. Who would return something? You sold it to them. I don't know. But in retail, it's very common.
And not only just returns, but you know, if you're a small business and you get the meter back, okay, you can resell it. You can resell your product yourself. You can check it, and you know, you may not lose a huge amount, but you'll lose out on the postage.
Sure.
But yeah, it's you don't realize that a lot of stuff gets lost as well. Yeah. And you've got to account the rule of thumb in the industry is 2% of your sales. Set aside 2% of your sales as a complete write-off.
Huh.
As in,
sucks.
you will lose the unit. You will lose every cent, including the cost of the unit and the postage.
Wow.
And if you don't factor that into your business,
again,
yeah. If you don't, you know, sometimes I've sent things 3 times and then given up. You know, so you lose the item. You know, twice. Like I've learnt now that no, once it doesn't.
I too have
doesn't
dealt
get
with the
there
USPS.
Once.
Yeah.
Yep. Once it doesn't get there once, that's it. Sorry, dude, I'm not resending you a new one. You just miss out.
Right.
You know, and people have a whinge, but what can you do?
I love the postal service. I won't give them too much crap, but yeah, if there was an option to pay extra for like just skipping that as a delivery mechanism, I'd be like, yeah, just charge me a little extra. That's fine. I just I love it. I want it to be around. I just don't want to use it.
Right. Anyway, that's a real hidden cost of doing business. So it's very significant, especially if your items are worth a lot of money.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's And then if you know, people buy things with the courier or whatever, you've got to eat that charge. You know, like especially from here in Australia, it can be like $25-$30 each way. Right? And it's like...
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. It's killer.
Crazy.
Sometimes it can cost more than the product does in actual manufacturing costs.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, speaking of manufacturing, what's going on with your manufacturing? Sounds like you're having a little bit of woes in the manufacturing space.
You know, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, I think, with my Kickstarter. Oh, not really. I'm sure.
I mean, like you're gonna ship it at some point, right? It's not like you were like, well, I was lying. It doesn't exist.
Right, yeah. Unlike half the Kickstarters out there, yeah. Well, we have shipped. I mean, we have actually shipped.
Right. That first batch is out, right?
Right. Yes. The first.
I've seen pictures of them on Twitter and stuff like that. People say they've gotten
half of the first batch is out, and and well, what happened is that the problem is there's a few issues that have cropped up. Some are just dumb because we missed it. Others are show totally unexpected issues.
Let's hear about those first. Well, let's just assume the dumb ones are, whatever's,
Well, first of all, there's the story. There's a few stories in here.
Okay.
First of all, we were supposed to do. There were 40 units that were supposed to be produced and sold before the Kickstarter, just for this very reason, so that I can get them out to people. And they can use it and tell us if there's any, like stuff they like.
Slam it against a rock a couple times, send it over a waterfall, whatever you want to do.
Because we have no clue. Like we've been involved in this for so long that you can't see the forest for the trees.
Exactly.
Right?
You're way too close to it.
Way too close to it. So I was kind of counting on that, and that that was the first thing that went wrong. The units came here they made it all the way to Sydney. They made it to the dock here.
Yep.
And then the manufacturer realised that something was screwed up. I won't get into details. And it's like, oh, no, we have to recalibrate them. Right.
Oh, no.
So they realised a mistake. It's just fine.
Sure.
Shit happens, right? And we thought, no worries. Look, it was a pain in the ass, but we'll ship them back. And no, I think they're still sitting in the dock somewhere.
Oh, no.
I kid you not. This has been a month and a half, and I think they're still sitting in a dock somewhere. Because the expediting companies... No, they're still still trying to be returned back to the manufacturer so they can redo them. And it's just the problems with the expediting companies and...
Yeah, it's amazing. So I was talking to at this meetup last night, I was talking to a friend about just the amount of bouncing around. He was doing some crazy assembly, but there was at least four or five countries involved with a process and then
right.
A new thing being applied, and then each step of the way. So not only is it, so you think about small problems that crop up, some kind of inevitability, but now you have material. Now your assembly line is, thousands of miles long, right? And it's holy
right.
shit, that really impacts your delivery time and your cost and all the shipping costs and everything. And so, and you can't do it onesie twosies. You got to bundle them up like you're doing, right? You got to do 40 at a time to make it worthwhile. So I think what you should do is just, pack up a backpack, throw David on a plane, man, and send him to South Korea, right? You just got to... you have a courier. He works for you. You just got to, repurpose him. He can write code on the plane.
Probably. We shouldn't. That's actually... not a bad idea.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes that is... the sneaker net is the best way to do it.
I know. But we physically didn't have meters. Our whole pre-production run of meters of 40... because they didn't physically have any more, and so that was it, and they're stuck in a dock somewhere and they're still stuck there. So, so we're left without, high and dry, and the people who pre-ordered, those didn't get them. So, sorry about that, but it was kind of beyond everyone's control.
Yeah.
Shit went wrong,
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Well, that's logistics stuff, though. So, again, that's the same theme here, right? It's shipping stuff, logistics stuff, whatever, selling stuff.
It's a combination of that. But, I could have easily got them, but they would have required a recalibration, and I didn't want to send them out to people who ordered them, and I couldn't calibrate them here. It's not so...
Right. It's not like the calibration goes bad and shipping. I mean, there might be some temperature swings, but probably not enough for it to really matter.
No, anyway, it was a software thing. Anyway, so we decided to send them back, and that's where the problems started, trying to get them reshipped from the dock. It probably, in the end, would have been easier if I just accepted them into the country, paid all the import duty and the local delivery, got them here, and simply then sent them back via DHL courier. Right. That would have been, that would have... solved it, but with hindsight,
you turned it around.
I turned it around at the dock, because I thought, why would I import them? It's stupid. We know they have to go back, and that's when it just it was. I
would say don't plan on ever saving money, right? No. Just plan on spending money.
Then it was a hot potato, and nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to touch it. And anyway, as in the dock people and stuff. And it was anyway. So they're still sitting there. So, and then the pressure was on from all sides to get the Kickstarter done, right? And we went, well, look, we were hoping to get those 40 units so that we could ship them out so, people could have a play with it and give us feedback. So we decided, that wasn't happening, And so we thought, okay, let's just take a chance. We'll run the Kickstarter, get it done before the end of the year, and we'll take a chance, and then the first 450 will be the test lot, So
all right.
So let's up the ante by an order of magnitude,
really
right?
Selling some pain for yourself here, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and
man.
But everyone was kind of confident, And so we go ahead with the Kickstarter. Kickstarter's a success, of course, and but then, of course, New Year's, Christmas and New Year's break and everything. So I was hoping to deliver in in December, but I was a week late or something, Anyway, so we shipped out in early January. We got the 400 we got 180 units here, and we shipped them to different warehouses.
Yeah.
And so I got 180. Anyway, we shipped out, no problems. We shipped to Australian customers, got them first. Europe got them, and then the reports started coming back that it's got slow auto ranging, and then people started having there were a few other little niggly software bugs.
But software's better.
Software can be
this
fixed,
thing's built to be updated with software, so that's good.
It's built to be updated in software. That's why we're confident that we could fix any issues.
Right, as long as it's not a hardware bug, you're in good shape.
Exactly. So we were fairly confident that we wouldn't have any hardware issues.
Well, also if you can't brick the software with an update,
you can't. No, I've checked that, and I've pulled out the SD card during the update, and it just happily,
that's good.
Happily takes care of that.
Have you tried to program in like a GoTo10 or anything like that?
Right. I'm sure you could brick it some way if you really tried. But,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were pretty confident of that.
Cool.
So we thought, no worries. Probably the worst cases we'll have some. I knew we'd have some software bugs, so that was a given. Anyway, and then the odd person started to report that they had a problem with the range switch. And it
range
was
switch, like the actual clicky,
clicky range switch, clicky rotating range switch, and not only was it a little bit loose, a little bit of wobble in it, but which we hadn't seen before to this magnitude, and also intermittent contacts as well. Which was the killer. It's one thing to have a bit of play in your range switch. It's another thing to have loose contacts. And people started posting videos, like just a couple of people. It wasn't everyone. It was just a few. But even one is bad, right? And then two sort of confirms it. That,
I was thinking about this too. Is that so you unfortunately have a catalog of complaining about other people's products.
Yeah.
I know. You can't just be like, oh, nobody cares about that when there's video evidence of you being like, well, the tilting bale.
And they posted those videos of me complaining. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
that's funny.
Yep. And by far the biggest complaint was about the slow auto ranging. And it used to be faster, and they made it slow in an update, and we just missed it. I mean, we were just so used to it that we didn't notice. I know it sounds stupid, but it's just
no, it's it's being too close to it, right? It's just
being
daily,
too close to
daily
it.
type stuff. You're not going to notice it as much.
No, and we we just didn't notice it. Anyway, so
how do you do? So tell me about that. Do you and David have a standard battery of tests? Did you actually standardize that or anything?
No, we should have. That was a mistake. We should have more formally.
Right, and so you don't have a calibration ring in your place. You don't have a test jig in your place.
No. I like David went through the pre-production meter and went through design issues and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
and you're not doing bug tracking or anything like that either.
We are now.
Oh, you are. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
once shit hit the fan.
How are you doing that?
David's doing it in
just
some
like a spreadsheet
document,
or something.
Some document.
Okay.
I'm not sure how he's doing it. No, it's not. Yeah, because we're not in charge of the firmware, right? We don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's more just is this resolved? Yes, it's resolved. Here's the firmware number.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can so when someone asks about it 4 months down the line, you're like, oh, well, you're on
we
Rev
fixed that
4.02. You need to go to 4.07.
David's keeping track of that in a document somewhere.
Okay,
cool. Which we'll make public. It'll be a public sort of bug tracking kind of document.
Yeah, that's great. Yep.
And so I was mostly concerned about the range switch because that's a physical thing. And, maybe 3, maybe 4 people reported it out of, so maybe 1 in 100, I think, actually reported in like a real issue. And we hadn't seen this before. We've had countless prototypes over the last 2 years, and we've never had a contact issue. And it turns out that it was just a tolerance thing in the injection molded parts. So when they went to the production, even though the pre-production was supposed to be the same mold and everything, I think they might make them slightly differently. Or so. I mean,
if you start shooting faster, if you shoot plastic
faster,
or hotter or colder or whatever,
exactly.
there's just there are a lot of knobs to turn there. And not only that, it's even if you think about you make 50 units. But you start to have problems at the 500 or 1,000 mark, you're going to see that, at 5% of units at a certain point.
If you make 100, you may not catch that 1 in 100.
Right. Or you might even just right off be like, oh, well, I just, jiggle it and it's fine.
Right.
But you get a bunch of customers who get that as their first thing. They don't know how to do that.
Oh yeah,
right?
no. If during any of the production or pre-production I'd noticed an intermittent contact, wow, that would have been priority number one, right?
Right.
Yeah, but we've never had, and I've
these are just like volume problems, though, right? I mean,
of course.
That's like what who was it? Jeff talking about that? I think Jeff Kaiser.
Yep.
Talking about like just the when you get into the million unit things, you're going to be
you'll
playing
get
with this
the
stuff.
Outliers,
Yeah. And that's when you really start to see
you'll find
the
out
full
where
range.
the tolerances, the tolerances lie. You won't see it in a few dozen or 50 or even 100 units.
Yeah. Well, speaking of my old test equipment days, I remember like, if you have a vendor that says typical, on the data sheet,
right? Yeah.
Typical is just typical. They're giving you that full range for a reason.
Right.
Yeah. That's when statistical process control, like. Knowing your SPC concepts and like being able to doing error budgets and all that stuff, it's like that's really important
Please
stuff.
explain SPC for those.
So
explain the acronyms.
Right. So a statistical process control is like if you have, say, you have a test stand where it, you're doing a calibration and it calibrates around, you're trying to calibrate 10 millivolt range and you got a 0.1% accuracy or 0.001% accuracy, whatever, and that test stand does that, that's fine. But then maybe the next test stand down does the same thing, but it's offset by 0.001%, it's just slid to the right a little bit.
Yep.
And you start to see these things relative to one another and relative to all the components, and it's just...
And you've always got hard limits. I mean, at some point, you've got to manufacture a pass-fail limit.
Right.
And if it's 0.0001 over or under, it'll pass, but then that may be different to another test rig, and there's
and then you start having stuff that doesn't pass, and that turns into like seeing stock on the manufacturing floor that's like literally waste. I mean, you might be able to rework it, but then there's time that like then a tech has to look at it, and if they don't do it within a certain time frame, then it gets scrapped out. So, test equipment. Gee, Chris, why don't you like test equipment stuff? I don't know, Dave. I don't know why I don't like test equipment stuff. Maybe I've dealt with it too long.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You guys are just doing all the, I like this finished goods thing.
That's it.
Although now you're feeling the pain, so
I'm just going to keep rebadging shit from now on.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's just these. Anyway, so range switch. That was like, if you would have asked me what would be the last thing that went wrong in this thing, that would be on the list. That'd be high up the list of things that I wouldn't have expected to go wrong.
You never see the big ones. You never see coming.
Right. Yeah. And of course that is a showstopper. I mean, we can't have like one in every 100 or a couple in every 100 units having a dodgy range switch. That's just unacceptable.
Right. So, well, on the Toyota production system, the TPS stuff too. What that would be, right?
What?
That's a big red button incident. I don't think that's what they call it.
Yes, right.
When they like so in the TPS, and I'm sure I'm getting all my terms here wrong.
Yep.
But in Toyota production system, anyone on the line is allowed to pull the stop, and basically...
Oh, anyone, right. Okay.
Yeah, so any worker, if there's a true problem, they're supposed to pull the stop. And the whole line shuts down, and then everybody runs towards that one thing and fixes that problem.
Yep.
And it's like, holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to have that power as well when I was working in production engineering. If I, it was like $100,000 a day business, right? So if we stop the line for a day, the company loses $100,000, right? It's a lot of money, and I quite a few times went stop, and shut down the entire production line, and I had the authority to do that.
Right.
And it was like and sometimes you had to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to hawk one of my old pieces, but so thinking about that TPS thing and thinking about all this stuff you're talking about, I wrote an article a while back. It was back. Oh God, it was back in May already. Yeah, manufacturing isn't glamorous, and this is the stuff where it's like you're just on the floor fixing stuff at 1 a.m. Right?
Right.
It isn't.
Right.
People like to talk about making stuff and everything, but it's making one of things, making 10 of things, making 1,000 of things, very different beasts. And you're 1,000 plus. So, and you're not even making them. That's the crazy thing, yeah.
Anyway, so I did push the big red button here, because we'd only shipped half the units, half the early backer units. We had once again a more logistical issues. The people in the US have been, where's my meter? Where's my meter? And we were using a reshipper in the US, and unfortunately, we asked the manufacturer to ship via, a door-to-door courier, so these meters would just get there. There'd be no import hassles, right? And well, they didn't. I don't know, because they forgot, or it's part of their standard process not, to do it another way. So they used this expediting company to ship into the US, and nope, they got stopped. Not because of, like a lot of people instantly speculated, fluke. It's fluke, because you remember that fluke thing
that's right,
where
when
they
turned off the spark plug meters. Yeah,
the spark plug
but
meters.
Yours aren't even yellow,
I know, but everyone went into conspiratorial mode, and it's fluke of stop Dave's meter from coming into that.
I don't think they feel too threatened. I wouldn't worry about that.
No,
yeah.
it's all good. No, so of course it wasn't fluke. No, it was just because what it turned out to be, which was first time I've heard of this, but apparently it's a thing. If you're getting stuff into the US and it's going to the company, it's going to a company who did not order the goods, who does not own the goods, in this case a reshipper, they don't own the goods. I own the goods, right? So my company name is on the...
They didn't get money from you, right?
Yeah.
Or they didn't give money to you for your product. They were just handling material.
Yeah. So what it was, so the import people looked at the paperwork and went, we're shipping to this company whose name does not match the company who owns the product on the invoice. Red flag, stop. And they've been sitting there for quite some time to sort.
Like the port of Los Angeles or something?
Yeah, somewhere like that. Yeah, there's some port in the US. They're just sitting there, right? And I didn't know about this, and neither did anyone else. It's like
you got to do it like the Chinese shippers from like AliExpress do, and just like
gift.
Put something. Yeah, exactly. Very large gift.
Anyway, so we were trying to sort out that, and then the range switch issue happened. So it was kind of fortuitous timing. Otherwise, we would have sent out another couple of hundred units. So I pushed the big red button and said, look, this range switch thing's a problem. The manufacturer was investigating. They found a solution that they think's going to work just to treat. And we said, look, let's just recall those. Okay. Not recall, let's... screw all of them back, and they'll just do a little mod to the range switch, and then we can ship them back out. So,
see, now I thought you were going to get into the whole. So you haven't had any sourcing issues again, though.
Sourcing issues? No, I think they're mostly solved. Component sourcing.
Have you seen this article though about the shortages?
The capacitor shortages.
Yeah.
Who is it? Who's the company?
So Yageo,
yep.
I'm not sure. Yeah, so
Yago, I call them.
Yeah, so that was about resistors, but it's apparently passives all across the board are
really?
So so this all This was brought to my attention when a friend was asking about, have you seen prices going up? He just sent me a DigiKey page, and he's like, I paid half as much a reel a couple months ago.
Interesting.
And that was for some diode products, so it was active technically, but low scale, low complexity parts. And I'm like, I don't know. So I asked on Twitter, and people started saying, apparently because of shortages overall, there's just been general capacitor shortages and some resistor shortages and stuff like that. And because of the weakness of the dollar against the RMB or the yuan, it's like, it's just getting harder and harder. So I was wondering if that maybe hit you as well.
No, I haven't heard a thing. No.
Okay. So, and I mean, you just might have. I'm sure that like a lot of this is usually muffled by a good purchasing person, right? They either know about it or they have alternate sources or whatever. But
usually it's not too bad for passive parts like this because you can multi-source.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. That's the best case.
It's not a problem.
Right. It's bad when
unless you got some specialized 0.01%.
Right.
2 ppm resistor or something.
Right, or if it's in your micro, your micro's like not available for some reason, then you've also got issues. But
you're screwed because you have to get that exact part. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this was. Actually, former guest Joe Bamberg was the one who brought this article to my attention. So Yaegyo is only taking orders from China now. So, and people might know the name because like they're in DigiKey, and usually they're the cheapest option. So there's a lot of people that design them in,
right?
And now you can't really get them. So.
And price has been creeping up. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So how do the stockists like DigiKey and Mouser get them then if they're only selling to China?
Well, some of them might be selling old stock. I'm not speaking from a place of authority.
Okay.
I don't know. But, I'm sure that they have stock and stuff like that. But if you can even just go and look on their sites, because a lot of them list reorder times, right? So
of course.
If they run out of stock, they know their lead times.
What you can do is you can put in, like, I want 10 million of these, and it'll tell you, I don't have enough stock, here's the lead time.
Exactly. Right. And that's effectively the same thing you do. If you go to, like, Arrow, Avnet, whoever, and you get a full bomb quota, and you can do that at the other distributors too. Yeah. They'll give you lead times, right? Especially if you're doing high volume.
And they're usually pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's more about like, So like, people should be doing this anyways, right? So this is our PSA for this week is like, if you're thinking about high volume, get your stuff quoted fast anyways, because you want to make sure that you can actually get the stuff. And if you can't, then you want to go back and you want to find other part numbers and, maybe redesign your circuits if you need to, test everything, yada, yada, yada. So. But that's not you, so that's good.
No, it's all good.
Although you might want to talk to your manufacturer and just ask them, be like, "Hey, been seeing this?" Because it's the thing. They wouldn't tell you until it's a problem.
No, of course they won't. They won't tell you until it's an issue.
Yeah.
And even then, they wouldn't tell me. Oh, we've got to. It'd be it'd simply where there's a delay in the, actually delivering. That's all they tell you. They never tell, which has happened a couple of times with my Bryman meter. Bryman, for the last couple of years, have been Johnny on the spot with their delivery, right? Mm-hmm. It's always 2-month lead time, which is ridiculous, right?
No, that's
they've got
standard,
some just-in-time thing.
Yeah, it's standard. you can't get parts like that's. But if people don't know, that's doing wafer starts, right? You're starting from sand and you're basically getting all the chips you need. So.
Yeah, well, but I order a meter and they'll say it'll be 2 months lead time. They don't keep any stock at all of this meter.
Why would they? So, I wouldn't.
I know,
you?
yeah. No, okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of annoying, so I've got to plan 2 months ahead for when my stock's going to run out and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so it's 2 months, and then for the last couple of times in a row, they've come back sometimes multiple times and said, sorry, there's a delay in shipping these things, so maybe that is related.
Totally. I guarantee that's like they're getting their lead times pushed out, and so
so it impacts me. Yeah, that's that's more than likely the case.
Right, and they're building in also their assembly times and their calibrating times, and
And I'm sure they do just in time production.
Right. Cash flow, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know that you've put in POs for big orders.
I put in big POs.
You've seen the zeros at the end of the order, right?
Yep,
it's crazy. Yeah, I had another friend who was doing that. They were doing some macrofab stuff, and they just big ass order. They were just sticker shock.
I'm a pissant little almost one man band.
Right.
Almost. And I'm putting in 6-digit purchase orders.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
Right, you'll get 6 digits back.
Right, yeah.
Hopefully,
hopefully that's the plan.
You better, if not, Dave might be looking for a job. But
right.
But I think that stuff is it filters down to you at the you're like a reseller at this point for a lot of this stuff. Yeah, but you're still getting hit by it. So
which is interesting. So there you go. Anyway, so the problems with the with the meter, that was oops.
Yeah, that's stressful, man.
Yeah, I know. And it's people might think
on the whole you're doing well for a Kickstarter, right?
Well, for a Kickstarter, and people complain, how can there be so many problems? You've been working on this for 2 years. It's like, well, even the Bryman meter, they worked on that for 2.5 years, and that's much simpler. That's like a really simple meter, and it still had problems when it came out. People started finding, all sorts of issues when it came out. And, So, and we've had to upgrade the mask ROM micro in there. This is none of this flash rubbish. Yeah, it's a masked micro ROM.
Low
right?
cost, man. You got to do it.
Yeah. They actually make their own chips.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. Bryman actually make their own multimeter.
Right. So when you say mask ROM, that's like so what they're doing is like the metallization layer, right?
Yes.
That's what they're changing?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's like the stuff that Jerry Ellsworth used to do for like C64 and like just lower cost.
No. They're sorry. They are one-time programmable. They're one time, so you can burn them once.
Oh, so it's not metallization.
No. So you make the chip and you can burn them once, but you can't reprogram them.
Okay, so you're not changing the mask there. It's a mask ROM, not a... Okay,
yes.
Got it.
So they can't just keep stock... it's a big risk for them to keep stock of masked ROM programmed parts. Because if you have to change the firmware, well, you have to scrap all your old stock.
Right.
There's just no other way to do it. And we've had to revise that firmware probably 4 times now.
Wow. Okay.
And this was after 2.5 years of development. So people just kept finding issues. Yep. So it happens.
Well, better to find them than to be like over your bench and you know. I'd rather have other people find them personally. So yeah.
Yeah, true. I would hate to produce a product that's a mask ROM like that.
Yeah.
But that's what you had to do back in the days. There was none of this flash rubbish.
Right, exactly.
There was none of this C-squared problem rubbish.
How about the OTA stuff? That's what we're moving towards, right? Everything being OTA. So over the air.
OTA. Over the air.
Over the air updatable, right? I mean, like that's just the future of stuff, right? Yeah. It already happened. I think about that when I look at my phone in the morning. It's like 18 apps have updated. It's
18 apps have updated. Yeah,
and it's like every night. It's crazy,
right?
I know. Like they
I know it's nuts.
They're just moving pixels around, but you got to update that stuff. Got to make sure the new features are there and bug fixes.
Bug fixes are there, and it's just it's nuts. Anyway, but that's before it was the PIC 16C84 that started the revolution. The the microcontroller revolution. We've probably discussed that before, but that was the first. That was the industry's first, pretty much. Popular reprogrammable chip. It's like you can reprogram this. Holy crap! I can reprogram it. I can make mistakes and then not have to throw my chip in the bin.
Right.
Wow, how novel.
Right. I'm gonna get sloppier.
And that was a big deal. And back then, Flash wasn't invented, so they used E-squared prom.
Yep. Then that's the UV erasable or
no. This was the electronically erasable. Yes.
Oh, so EEPROM and EEPROM. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So and that was you could do it 50 times. It had like 50 cycle write limit or something. But hey, that was a revolution.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you get more than one, you're in good shape, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that changed everything. But so there you go. I did a teardown. It's currently up. It's just uploaded. It's not live yet. But I did a teardown of the IBM PC Junior.
PC Junior. Okay, well that'll probably be up by the time this show comes out. So.
It should be, yeah. No,
so
it'll be
anything fun in there?
Anyway, well, the interesting, I did a walkthrough of the motherboard. So I took a photo and then panned around and zoomed in and did voiceover of the motherboard. It's a bit different to my usual style. So watch it and let me know what you think. And the ROMs, I kid you not, the BIOS ROMs are soldered into the board. They are mask ROM chips soldered into the board, into the 4-layer board.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
So if you want to upgrade your BIOS...
No updating, right.
No updating your BIOS. It was and it was date-coded before the release of the product. So they must have been so supremely confident in that code that,
they just didn't have a choice. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they could have put it in a socket, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
what everyone else
right?
does.
This is like a low-cost thing?
Yeah, maybe. But, geez, or, maybe IBM don't use sockets. We're IBM,
Right.
That's adding unreliability into the engineering chain,
Right.
Screw that.
Yep.
So, yeah. And it's bloody soldered in mask ROM chips. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Into a 4-layer board. So you've got to desolder. It's not easy to desolder those puppies, with the big ground plane and everything. And yeah. So, but this was back in the days when they actually published the BIOS assembly code in the manual.
Yeah.
It's got the full BIOS listing in there. Yeah, Anyway, they were supremely confident. So that's the old days.
Yeah, man.
So sometimes I love it. Like I like, products like that are so well engineered that you're so confident in the code that
I'm sure there was a lot of stress in there, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, it looks like with the the sheen of time, right? The patina of time. Like it's
what was the there was for you remember who did the original zip program, the zip compression thing.
Oh.
Anyway, it was PKware. I think it was PKware. PK Zip was the first, everyone's familiar with Zip these days, right?
Sure, of course.
But, back in the DOS days when, Zip came out, it was like, they didn't change that program. They didn't update that program for like a decade. And everyone went, well, is there like a new version? Why isn't there a new version? It's because it's perfect, dude. It's because there are no bugs in this thing, and we're not going to. Why? Why touch it? It's perfect. It's rock. And for like more than a decade,
I can't tell if that's like sarcasm or what it was. Is that hubris? Is that what that is?
No, it's just that the programmer, it was one guy, right, at PKware,
okay.
right? It's one guy. It was developed by one guy, and and he went, no, I am not touching it. It is perfect. There's too many issues. If there's no way I could break I could break a million zips out there, So no, it's perfect. There are no bugs. I've ironed out all the bugs, and that's it.
Right,
So it's version 2.04 forever.
Take it or leave it. Yeah.
And that was fantastic.
Well,
I kind of miss those days.
I don't.
Right. So you'd rather wake up in the morning and have your 18 apps have been updated.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more rigor, but we really do benefit from that too, right? I mean, like,
right.
Yeah. Getting updated stuff, updated security, stuff like that. Like, so, well, how about this? So we can talk. I mean, I can't really talk about the depths of it, but like, there's the whole Intel bug, right? So.
Oh yes, the Spectre and whatnot. Yeah. What is it? Spectre and what's the other one called? The other exploit. They're two different mechanisms of the same. Two different.
Right. Yeah. Spectre and finding it.
If people don't know what we're talking about,
while
you find
That's it.
Yeah. Meltdown, Spectre and Meltdown, is somebody found. Apparently, it's been out for quite some time. It's been known in the security world for quite some time.
Yeah.
Somebody did a paper on it like 9 months ago or something, and it's an exploit in the prefetch, not the speculative execution in the Intel processors, where you can actually read data out of protected sectors of memory. And this is like, wow, it's like, it's a surprise it's taken so long to find this. It's a big one. And it applies to ARM processors, all of these super scalar processors, a whole bunch of them.
Right.
And but anyway,
I think the reason that it probably takes so long to is it's not like easy. It's not like this is like some
it's not true.
Script kiddie's gonna hop in and be like, all right, I got your passwords. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it is still like from a true security standpoint, it's bad.
Yep.
So and it was some like young kid that
published
about it. Yeah, 22-year-old something or other. So I'll post a link to that. But anyways,
so that's and apparently, there's some drama about that.
Wailing
apparently,
and
like
gnashing of teeth.
Apparently, like the Intel CEO knew about this, of course, and has like sold stock and stuff.
Right.
And there's some nasty insider trading stuff happening, and Intel are in serious trouble because this is. It won't sink Intel, but it's going to.
No, exactly. I mean, like,
really
what are people's options here, right? I mean, like, yes, you need patches.
For people's desktops, it's not really a huge deal, but I've heard for servers it could be, and there's a lot of servers out there. There
are a lot of servers out there.
Yeah. So, and those companies take their security seriously,
Yes, of course.
So, whereas Joe Blog with their Intel home PC, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yep.
Probably. So, Anyway.
Well, you and I are not security people, but
no.
I don't. remember why I brought that up, but
But like everyone came out, Raspberry Pi came out and said our ARM's not vulnerable, and every man and his dog's coming out saying, "Oh yeah, no, we're certified, it's okay."
Right. Yep.
So yeah, because not all ARMs are susceptible, only some. The Cortex R8, A8, A9, A17, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's only a certain sector of them. So, but that's huge, because they're all in these Internet of Things, right?
I mean, not that many, not the low power stuff.
Right.
I mean, I guess ARM stuff, but like even still, yeah. Cortex M0s are okay,
Right? Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
Is Cortex M0 the small? What's the smallest ARM? What's the cheapest, most jelly beany?
Yeah, I'd say M0, M0 Plus. Those are
right.
Those are usually like the sub-dollar ones.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I was talking when Alicia and Chris were on here. We were talking. They had that amazing $1 microcontroller guy on their show. You saw that like comparison.
No, that awesome comparison. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, so Jay was on their show, and that was a great show with him too. But a lot of those the sub $1 chips are all M0s and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
got it.
Yeah, I've actually been using an M0 lately. I've been crushing on a new microcontroller.
Oh, there you go.
Specifically with a new software on there. So I've been using CircuitPython, which we've had Tony on the show in the past, and Tim 2 weeks ago asked me about if I met Dominic, the guy that started CircuitPython, or MicroPython, which became CircuitPython. But I really like it for the thing I like about it, and I think the thing that you would like about it too is you plug this thing in, it's a little USB connected 8, 9 pin, 10 pin thing, right? Plugs into breadboard if you wanted to, whatever. So not a lot of pins, but it plugs in. It shows up as a drive on your computer, Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever.
Yeah.
You can open up the file directly on your computer, right? So I open up the main.py, I edit it, I hit save, it soft reboots, and I can see that all happening in the terminal, and then it just runs again. And so, like,
Sweet.
in terms of, you and I were just complaining about that, like, 18 apps updating because people are, making bad code changes. But that's effectively what I'm doing on, like, a 3-minute interval,
Yeah, of course.
Does this work? No. Does this work? No.
Yep.
But it's great for me. And it's been really useful. So I do recommend trying it out at least.
All right.
The Trinket M0, I'll link it. The Trinket M0 from Adafruit ships with CircuitPython. So,
are you a debug person?
What does that mean?
As in using debuggers.
Like, I still
when
don't know
you're
what you mean,
developing micros and stuff, like, will you use like an in-circuit debugger?
So like the 1 bitsy with the Black Magic, like you're talking about like doing like a halt command type of thing. Yeah. No, I'm not. Mostly because all the stuff that I've been using lately has just been too small, or doesn't have breakout stuff like that. Are you a debugger?
No, I am not a debugger.
You're a Printeffer?
I'm a Printeffer. Yes, I'm a lead flasher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
exactly.
just flash an IO pin. I just compile my code, download it, because hey, we're in a world of reprogrammable flash micros, and
it's not like you're going to wipe out the stuff.
Only takes a couple of seconds. Download it and just run the real code on the real hardware.
Well,
and then
what
if
we
I
should
need
also mention though is we are not good programmers, nor are we
we're not
writing complicated things, right?
David takes me to task all the time because he's one of those by the book, like I can mathematically prove that my code's correct, like kind of, which is great. You're
like pipe down, Junior.
which is great if you do it a Mars rover or something,
right.
A space probe that
right.
But,
and that's the thing. Like the professionals, that's fine. But like you and me,
we're just hacks. Yeah,
we are not smart.
No.
Well, that's the thing. We want to get stuff done. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're totally right. Is like if you're getting into it more, yes, you should be doing that stuff.
Right.
And Black Magic Probe's great. There's a lot of the like the code analysis tools that are out there. If you like that stuff, go listen to Embedded FM. They talk about that stuff all the time. So it's that's not me. I like that though. A Printeffer,
Yeah, Printeffer.
Yeah.
I'm a Printeffer. There's a T-shirt in that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep.
Love it.
Yep. Are you programming new things?
Am I programming new things? What do you mean?
I mean, like, are you just on? Are you just in Multimeter World for the next couple months? Still?
I'm probably no, just straight after this.
Yeah.
It is micro supply. We're back on the micro supply because I've been too busy lately, and we've built up the prototype of the controller part. The main controller part, and I just haven't had time to sit down for like half a day and actually play around with it and go, and play it, test it, analyze it, and go, okay, well, let's move on to the next stage of the development. Because we're happy because in a power supply, the main problem is the control loop, right?
Yes, right.
Exactly. We've rolled our own control loop, and
right.
So
get ready for some ringing. Feedback. Yes.
Oh, just get ready with those little dodgy caps that you just put around your circuit until it works. Hold your tongue at the right angle until it works.
Capacitive loads, huh? Yeah. Just slow it down here a little bit. Slow it down there a little bit. Yeah, we're probably cool.
Well, we've talked about that, haven't we? There's two ways to do control loops. There's the mathematical, rigorous way, just like coding. There's the rigorous way, right? And which if people don't know, involves sweeping your control loop, right? So how it works in a DC
like a network analyzer, right?
Yeah, using a network analyzer. What you do is you get a big, expensive network analyzer and you put a little transformer into the feedback resistor network. You know how every DC converter has a...
You got your alpha, you got your beta, you got your... I've forgotten everything else. So
you put a little transformer in there, and that allows you to couple a signal into your feedback loop, and then that can you can sweep it over the whole range via that transformer.
0.1 hertz up to what, megahertz? 10 megahertz? I don't know.
And then you can get the magnitude and phase of the output, and from that you can calculate, all your goodness to do with your control loop stability. You've got to have phase margin, of X, and the data sheets for the op amps will tell you, it's got a phase margin of X and stuff like that, and you've got to be within that, otherwise it oscillates, and all that sort of jazz. Anyway, it's like you can do that.
Or
you can simply
or you could be a Printeffer.
Or you can be a Printeffer and simply feed a square wave into your input, not the feedback, feed a square wave into your input and look at the output on your scope and tweak things until it's just the waveform. There's not any overshoot really. It's just rounded, just right.
Right, exactly.
And both methods are entirely valid.
From a support perspective, I'd say the first one is probably a little bit more rigorous.
It's more
but
rigorous.
much harder to get through, and then even to supporting that. Then so like now, if you go and change something for a legitimate reason, you add something new, you change your resistor value, whatever. You got to go retest everything.
You got to read it. Yeah. No, it's much easier to just feed it a square wave and see that it doesn't ring.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
Yeah,
and that is the old engineer in you is allowed to do that, right? You've seen enough of it,
Because if people don't understand how that works, it's because a square wave contains all frequencies, right? Like a fast rising edge, in theory, contains
not all frequencies, but a lot of frequencies,
a lot of frequency components, right?
And if you did a FFT of a square wave, you start to see peaks in decreasing amplitude over time, and it goes on for a long time.
So you can simply feed in a fast edge and see if the output rings, if it like overshoots or undershoots, then that's an indication of the stability of the loop, at those frequencies.
Right, and the sweep is better because you don't just get the harmonics of the base frequency. Right. There was actually a really... What did I see it again? So I think somebody
you can feed in multiple frequencies. Like you don't have to feed in one frequency square wave. You can feed in,
sure. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Right, but the sweeping gets almost all of them. Right, if you get sweeping, you get all of them, and you start to see little peaks and spikes and whatever.
Yeah, but generally, if you look at the phase response of any control loop, it's not random hickledy-pickledy. It's like nice and smooth. So you can predict that where it's going.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. You see it on the fifth harmonic. There's
Right.
probably a couple other frequencies if you change your bass frequency a little bit. That fifth harmonic on all those is going to have. It's going to have a bad time.
Right. So anyway, so that's what we're doing after this. So that's
okay. Cool.
We're going to do that. Yeah, it's actually in my calendar because we've put it off so many times that we earlier in the week we went, let's just stick it in the calendar. So
cool.
So on that note, we've got 5 minutes left.
Oh, here I am gonna link in a tweet from Seed Studio from a while back too. That if you don't understand, we were talking about the frequency stuff. There's a really good explanation of like Fourier transforms and stuff like that. It's been around for a long time, but so it's just to see how all the different frequencies are included there. Cool.
Oh, the Good Watch.
Oh yeah, so Travis Goodspeed.
This is I was like I
think I saw that on your Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, I literally have this same watch sitting in a thing with some other Casio calculator watches. I was going to do this exact same thing years ago.
Cool.
Actually
why don't you explain what it is
the
first?
PCB. It's basically an existing Casio calculator, one of these four bangers, right?
I mean, everybody knows the Casio watch, the calculator watch. Come on,
the Casio calculator. They still sell them, right? Absolute classic. Sadly, they don't sell the scientific calculator version anymore. But hey,
Right.
Which I don't want a four-banger calculator on my wrist. That's for pussies,
Right, of course.
Yeah,
right. You gotta be hardcore, yeah.
Scientific or bust,
Right.
And so anyway, so I wanted to do that so that I could add scientific functionality to a.
Right. Obviously, we know you already have a watch fetish, so yeah.
I already have the micro. Well, I used to sell the micro watch,
Exactly.
And anyway, so I've got examples, and I took them apart, and I don't know, I got distracted, and it was one of those projects that never got.
Well, let's talk
really
about Travis, who actually did it. So
yeah, he actually did it. So he just manufactured a replacement board for inside.
Yep.
Seemed really easy. He's just put a micro in there. It's one of those TI jobs or something. MS.
Well, it's not just a new micro, though.
Sorry?
This is an RF watch. You knew that, right?
Oh, I didn't know. That.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. I didn't look into the details.
Yeah. So this thing is basically transmits and
No,
so basically
I hate that. No.
What?
Okay. No.
Okay.
No.
Well, sorry, man. He did it. So yeah. So
wrong,
Travis has been mentioned many times here before for doing the IME and stuff like that. I think Osman's probably mentioned him a couple times.
But wrong. No.
What's wrong with it?
Has he got a little antenna sticking out?
Yeah.
A little wire. No, just do
That's
a
so
watch.
cool.
That's just a watch. I'm sick of this smart bloody wireless watch bullshit.
It's not, Dave. I think you're getting it wrong here. It's not a smart watch.
I don't care. It's wireless.
This is an SDR in there. It's an SDR. Yeah.
Yeah, but to do why? I just want to watch.
Because it's awesome. No, that's amazing.
No,
Yeah,
I just want to
all right,
watch.
Okay, well then you finally go and do it, and you'll do that eventually. But I think this is awesome because yes, it is a watch for radio engineers.
What's this thing on the back? What's this thing on the back? That's a Yago S432. What's that?
That's probably the antenna.
That looks like the antenna.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, must be. Yep.
The radio's based on the CC 1101 core.
Yago, I just didn't know Yago did antennas. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks bigger than your average bear.
Well, anyways, yeah.
Right, no, I didn't know that. I hadn't seen this page. I'd just seen another page that didn't, I don't even think, mention.
So you weren't even interested in the cool part of it. You just wanted the watch.
No, I just went, he's done exactly what I was going to do, which is modify a Casio. Cool.
Got it.
Yeah. No, that's the level of detail I went into. And it's MSP 430. It's No, hang on. That was his dream. His dream was to have an MSP 430 in there, but he upgraded it to a CC 430. Right. It's got one. It's still a MSP 430, but it's the wireless version of it. Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't see that detail. Sorry. The article I looked at before didn't have that detail. So it was just, look, hey, cool. He's modified a Casio watch. Sorry, and that wasn't my fault. That was like the article I read somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool bananas. It makes me want to go back and do it now. Damn it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There's still time. There's still time.
Yeah. Because I'm a glutton for punishment. I want to do another Kickstarter. You do realize that?
Oh no, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, just a scientific calculator watch. No smartwatch bullshit.
Cool.
Just like buck of the trend.
Do it.
Oh, I think was it Mike? Mike from Mike's Electric Stuff, or somebody on Twitter. I mentioned this, and somebody on Twitter mentioned that we should do a Kickstarter campaign that's called "It's Just a Bloody Watch." That would be the name of the campaign.
Okay.
Rather than all the smartwatch crap.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
All right.
Yeah, are we done?
Well, I mean, unless there's other stuff on this list,
there's probably a ton of stuff.
There's a bunch of stuff on here. After the recording last week, someone posted there was a good. So there's a bunch of CCC talks, which is Chaos Computer Congress.
Yeah. Yes, because that happens in December, right?
That's right. Yeah, so that happened at the end of December. So there was a good talk about LoRa, and actually the person who was doing GR LoRa, which is GNU Radio LoRa, and so there was a talk there. There was another talk. Who else is on here? Well, there's a whole list of.
I'm sure there's a YouTube channel, right?
There is, and so it's just search for 33C3 is the kind of the tag for all that stuff, and so that's all.
How do they give presentations? Isn't it like out in the bush?
No. So every 4 years is Chaos Communications Camp. And then every year is the Congress. So that's
that's a different thing. Okay,
right. So Congress is an actual conference. Right. It's like a couple days after Christmas, and
got it.
Yeah. So
isn't the camp a couple of days after Christmas? Because I was invited to the camp once, but it was like December 27th or something. It's crazy.
I thought the camp happened other times, but I'm not sure actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not sure if I announced, but I'm actually going to a hacker camp this year.
Cool. Which one?
I'm going to Tour Camp, which is up in Seattle.
Oh, you've mentioned that before.
I did mention it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's apparently that's like the American version of the Chaos Camp. So, cool.
Oh, the Fate of Atari documentary is now on Amazon Prime. Producer, Jerry Ellsworth. Narrator, Bill Hurd. What?
Both former guests, yeah.
What?
I haven't watched it yet, so.
Easy to learn, hard to master, The Fate of Atari. What? Since when have they been working on a documentary together?
I don't know.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
I don't have this Amazon Prime bullshit. So how do I can rent the movie for $5?
So like renting, that's what I usually do. So.
Right. Yep. Okay. Do you have to have a Prime account, or do you?
No, I think you.
Oh no! If you have a Prime account, it's free, right? Or something.
Yeah,
bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah, right. It's like a all-you-can-eat kind of thing. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool bananas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, how long have they been working on that?
You got the wrong. You're asking the wrong nerd, man.
I know, but I'm just.
They didn't come here on their press tour, right?
No, exactly. I haven't heard a peep out of anyone about this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also in the video space, that not new at all. There was a cool video from an old VHS video of the history of Japan's electronic industry. So that's fun too.
Right, I saw the link to that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
All right.
And finally, given a couple, I guess I should probably put this at the top, but I have franchised my brand, Dave.
Oh.
Hardware Happy Hour, the thing that just happened here last night in Chicago. There's now one in Seattle. It's not actually franchised. I was just joking about that, but if you're in Seattle and you want to join, it's going to happen February 1st, which would be Thursday of next week.
Hardware Happy Hour. That's not an hour.
No, it's usually more than that. It's usually
and it's not cheap drinks, right?
It's hanging out at a bar and bringing your hardware to show off and meet nerds. So
right.
Yep.
Cool.
So 3-8 Seattle. Mr. Kaiser might be there. So.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes. So on my end of things, after the show last week, I was talking to Richard, the guest who was talking about Laura and LoRaWAN, and I am going to Amsterdam. So if anyone else is out there and wants to hang out, I'll be out there next week.
Excellent. So, is this for work?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Right. Cool.
Wireless stuff. Woot. So,
is there a conference?
Oh, sorry, there's a conference. Yeah. So the Things Network is what we were talking about on the show last week, right? So that's like a network of LoRa Fi stuff. That is one of the wide area networks that you can hop onto. and found out there was a conference and got a ticket, and now I'm going. So
Cool.
First time in Amsterdam, so I'm excited about that. So yeah,
Excellent.
I'll be around if anyone wants to meet up or.
He'll be in the red light district.
Oh yeah,
You'll find him standing under the red.
You know me.
Light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Red light district and pod cafes. Yep, that'll be me.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's always more links on our subreddit. People can check them out there. But Dave, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
It's good to be had.
All right. Cool, man. Well, let's talk to you next week or something.
Catch you next time.